What is up, boys and girls? Welcome to round number 8 here for Apex Online Racing here on the PS4. We're here at the Italian Grand Prix this time. As you can see, 48 point lead, I think, is that, over Pete in the drivers. So things are they're really close. We do have the opportunity to wrap up the championship. This episode. It basically will pretty much require a race win, and obviously Monza is definitely known for being a slipstream track, so you don't have to be the fastest to win the race around here, so it'll be interesting to, see who shines and who doesn't, but anyway, without further ado, let's get into qualifying. Alright, so we're going out on the soft compound tyres at the start of the session. I was umming and ahhing what strategy I actually wanted to be on, whether I wanted to try and play it safe like I did last episode. Obviously, if you haven't checked that out already, a interesting race to say the least. We were probably on for a win in that episode, or we would have had a really good chance. But we got front wing damage after being caught up in well, it's not even an accident, just we were in the wrong spot, wrong time, so it happens. We'll bounce back as we come across the line for our second lap on soft tyres, 20.5. Certainly nothing special. I've been lapping in the low 1 minute 19s in qualifying during all my practice runs. I think I did a 19.4, 19.5. on average, so definitely capable of more. But now we're going to go out on the super softs because I saw how everyone was going and was like, no, I'm not going to play the alternate strategy, I'm going to follow everyone else, so that's what we're doing. So fairly decent into the first chicane, not the greatest run through there in the world, but you know, still go out for a lap at the end of the session. So this lap, while already not perfect, is still pretty good. Come up now to definitely what I believe is the trickiest part of the circuit, this really annoying little chicane off on so hard. It's absolutely awesome when you get it right through there and you just flow the car over the curbs and it just glides through the chicane. It's absolutely awesome, but when you get it wrong and you like bunny hop over the curb almost or something like that, it just costs you so much time and it's absolutely ridiculous. But roughly 7.5, 8 tenths up as we come to the end of the lap. Basically a second up now as we come up to the final corner. As you can see, P15 at the moment, so we definitely do need to improve, because for a championship leader, 15th place is definitely not where you want to be on the grid, because yeah, that's just terrible. But then up to the line, about a 1.1 second improvement, and that puts us into position number 2 on a 19.4. Pretty disappointing considering that's the time I did on soft tyres in practice, so I knew there's definitely more time to find. It is possible to do a 118 around here, which I was able to accomplish in practice. I only barely scraped, I think, a 118.98 or something together, so, and that was, well, what felt like a pitch perfect lap from my standards. So anyway, here we go now for our final flying lap. Currently position 3, Darren has jumped us in the Mercedes. Still no sign of Pete on the top of the leaderboard, so interesting. Maybe he's just leaving it to the last minute, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. But anyway, down into the first chicane, brake basically at the 100 metre board. Do we get it stopped? Yes, we do. That first chicane, probably, as you can see, Delta is in the red, but then it goes to the green, so if anything, we sacrificed quite a bit on the entry compared to our previous lap, but it's just repaid us a little bit on the exit. Purple in sector 1, and this time a way better run through the chicane. Still probably didn't turn in as early as I should have there, so we're about 2 tenths up at the moment. We come through, I think it's Lesmo 1 and 2. Did I get that right?
Just 30 seconds
I don't know,
left in the
I'm
session.
absolutely hopeless with corner names, but you know, if you've watched my previous videos, you should already be able to figure that out. Anyway, to the end of the second sector now, we're still going purple, 3 tenths up, but we make a little bit of a mistake there. Round wide, and that compromises our whole run through that section, and now we've lost probably half a tenth to a tenth of a second, and means we're really going to have to throw it through this final corner, down to fourth, just to get the nose turned in. As we come up to the line now, it's basically a 3/10 improvement. Is this going to be pole? No, it is not. Position number 2 though, as we now jump on board with Pete, who is only down in 7th as he comes across the line and only improves up to 5th. So maybe a mistake there on that qualifying lap from the Mercedes driver, but yeah, that's interesting to see both of them where they are. As you know, they've been so dominant in qualifying all season, so yeah, that's interesting. But as you can see, Swaggy on pole position, myself alongside in P2. So without further ado, let's roll and let's get into the race. Alright, and here we are on the grid of the Italian Grand Prix in what is effectively a junior Ferrari car, so hopefully we can make the Tifosi happy this afternoon with a solid result. Overfueling the car by about 3.5 laps or something like that, I think. But away we go for the formation lap. Now at this point,
we're not seeing any technical issues
had already worked out what we needed to do, and basically I've just come to the conclusion that the simplest thing to do would just be to try and win the race, because if we do that, then that means that both Mercedes drivers are effectively out of championship winning contention, and the championship would go to us. Obviously, if something else happened under other circumstances, we could still win even if we didn't win the race, but anyway, we'll worry about that in basically another 27 laps time. So, reforming on the grid now. Swaggy definitely had the boot into it on the formation lap. I took the formation lap probably faster than what I usually would, and he still left us for dust. So, not waiting around Swaggy. He wants to get the show on the road, and you know, can't say I blame him. I was really eager to get this race going.
The rest
so
of the grid is
as everyone now forms up, a couple of cars colliding
lights
on the formation lap, as you saw. I think Banana Josh and someone else already back on the grid, so they'll be starting on stone covered tyres, so that'll be fun for them. It'll be like driving on icy poles. But anyway, is the last of the drivers ready up, and here we are for 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and away we finally go. Held the lights for a little bit, not too bad. Pretty decent start alongside Swaggy, about even as we go into turn 1. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? Swaggy is, but he locks up. Misses the apex. We try. Can we do anything? No, we can't. I think we get a little touch from Darren there. Pete, I think, is alongside or ahead of, I believe that's J Banks in the Toro Rosso. So he's already got the eyes on and getting the reel on, which he definitely needed to do. As we follow Swaggy now through the chicane. That was the line that we really should have taken through qualifying. That's the line that you really want to be taking. Through the first and now the second Lesmo. Just trying to keep in touch with the McLaren at the moment. Just keep the slipstream, you know, make sure we can stay with him. As I think Darren might have made a tiny bit of a mistake there in the second Lesmo. He's dropped back just a little bit. Only about half a second, so you know we're all still there,
okay.
still all able to capitalise on others' mistakes, and trust me, I reckon there'll be a lot of them. But as we come to the end of lap 1, still sitting in the slipstream of the McLaren driver. At this point in the race, I wasn't really overly, I don't know, I didn't want to put the move on, if that makes sense. Because I didn't want to fight. I wanted to see what Swaggy could do, because after this first lap, you know, we'd edged away from the Mercedes a little bit. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna sit behind you for a little bit, and I'm gonna see what you can do. So we followed him for the rest of lap 2, as you can see, cutting onto the final corner now, and we are right under the rear wing of the McLaren. And at this point, I do feel like I am generally a little bit quicker. So now we're gonna try to do something about it. Rich fuel mixture, overtake mode on the AOR, fastest lap of the race, 1:22.9. We're about equal on straight line speed, it seems. Hard under brakes for the first chicane. We're going to have to go the long way around. It's not where you want to be. A little bit of wheel banging between us, a little bit of side pod contact as well. As you can see, just checking for a front wing damage. Thankfully, nothing of the sort. As now we're back alongside each other again. We're going to fire up the inside into the chicane, run a little bit deep, but we managed to get the thing pulled up, and now we're into the lead here at the Italian Grand Prix. So at this point now, I'm thinking, right, I've got to go. This might be the only chance I get. I know it's early in the race and I probably shouldn't risk it, but with Swaggy there, I knew he might play defense a little bit. He might just hold the two Mercs up, and if he can hold them up just enough, I might be able to squeak out of DRS range. But as we look behind us, Swaggy has, he's been hit by the gust of wind and has lost the rear of the car, I presume, and has spun out. Thankfully, I believe he has not got any terminal damage and he is still in the race. But anyway, as the Mercedes off Pete and then J Banks sets fastest lap of the race. So now we'll jump on board with Contrast, who's been kind enough to lend me some footage from his point of view. So thanks for that, brother. But anyways, we ride down into turn 1. There's cars going absolutely everywhere. There's no room. But thankfully he makes it through. A little bit of contact. I think it's actually 3 wide there momentarily. As yeah, you don't want to be in the grass. Gets a hit, I believe, there with Badass in the Force India. We're going to go side by side with the Force India, and I believe, yes, Badass swoops around the outside. Contrast, is he going to have a peak? No. But now we cut on to the back straight, and he fires up the inside. Badass doesn't fight it too hard, and there we go. So, pretty decent start for the Ferrari driver. Basically on the fringe of the points already. So as you can see on the minimap, he's not that far behind us, so he's in a pretty good spot for this race. But anyway, getting back to
this lap.
The front of the queue and our race, we've cut all the way on to lap 9 now, where the Mercedes are finally going to try and make a move. Darren tries to go around the outside. We locked the rears and we actually cut the first corner a little bit, which was really annoying because I personally feel like that was rubbish.
Okay,
but,
clear.
Anyway, we're now fighting tooth and nail with the two Mercedes boys. We're going to defend to the inside a little bit. Darren looks, but we cover our line, and there we go. We hang on to the lead for a little bit longer through the Lesmos again. And this is probably the closest the two Mercedes have been ever since we took the lead. We did actually get out of DRS range back there just after Swaggy spun out, but they just managed to squeak back in, and I couldn't reopen the margin. But who cares about that? Darren going back up the inside, did not expect him to go for that move, but credit where credit's due, no contact, clean move. And there we go. So the Mercedes driver now leads. We're now the meat and the silver sandwich. That's a weird analogy, but we'll live with it. And Pete is now going for a dive up the inside. And for 2 races in a row, we now have front wing damage.
If it takes too much damage.
That is really not what we need. And both of us decide to box at the same time. We yeah, just kind of give Pete a hey mate, just you know, what was that? But anyway, thankfully that was the end of that, and you know, no harm done. But anyway, we've got to come in now for a front wing change, which is really not what you want to be doing. As you can see, it cost us a better part of probably, what, 5-6 seconds. So
Look
As
after
you
these
can see,
tyres
J-Banks
now.
goes
We
past
want to
us,
finish the race
Crossy
on
goes
this
past
compound.
us. So yeah, this pit sequence has really not worked out the way I wanted it to. I probably cut my own throat a little bit as well. I mean, I could have tried to, you know, re-attack. Is that even a word? I don't know. But could have tried to attack Darren again, but anyway, it's done, so we, you know, we just got to live with it. We got to get their head down and, yeah, go chasing after some silver arrows, and who knows, maybe we can pull out a
Let's turn up
miracle.
the ERS deployment and burn some of this energy.
The big problem that not just myself, but a lot of guys actually were having on the medium tyres, and we jump on board with Contrast for a second. That's 40, who I believe has missed the first chicane. Thankfully he avoids, and no contact or anything there, so Contrast still continues on the alternate strategy. But yeah, as I was saying, as we follow Crossy now, a little bit wide through there, Buddy Laurie, but a lot of us on the medium tyres were complaining that we just couldn't get them up to temperature, and that was the one problem I had as we go up the inside of Crossy into the final corner. Job done, that is now P7. But yeah, a lot of us, we just couldn't get the mediums up to temperature, myself included. The right
Gap to
front
teammate
tyre
behind
was
is
just like stuck
30.7
at
seconds.
85 kind of degrees, like right, it was in that kind of no man's land kind of area. It wasn't cold, but couldn't get up the temperature either, so that made things fairly awkward. But we're now following Harry Tomato out of the first chicane. Are we going to go for a lunge? Yes, we are. We're going to fire it up the inside, outbrake ourselves a little bit, but no harm done to either of us. We continue on up to P6 now behind J-Banks. His debut race as well here in Italy, I believe, and has definitely shown if he continues to race, he's going to be a threat, I reckon, because he's certainly got some pace.
Our
So
gap behind is
shout out to you, buddy, for a real
seconds.
good performance in your first race with all of us. That is our third warning and a time penalty. Oh man. Well, anyway, we can't reminisce and, you know, look back and, yeah, it's done. We got to keep that down. We got to keep moving. Contrast is now behind us. He's stopped. He's pulled a blinder of a strategy. He's on super softs now, and we.
Okay, clear.
What the fuck just happened? I was going to jump on board with Contrast here for a look. Did he hit the invisible wall? Is that a glitch, or I don't know? But anyway, on to lap 20 now. Contrast has caught up to the back of us, and he sends it down the inside. And at that point, I really didn't see the point in fighting him. He's on the fastest tyre. He can basically do qualifying laps where I really can't. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to try and stick in the slipstream. I'm going to try and follow, and hopefully, I don't know, by some miracle that he might tow me up to the Mercedes pair. But yeah, this race hasn't really gone as well as I had it planned, but still, running in the top 5 is a pretty decent result. As you can see now, coming on to lap 26, and the Mercedes boys did start to battle a little bit, and that has actually helped both of us catch up. We've actually managed to stay with Contrast quite well as we run through 40's disconnected Renault, and that is Dynamite, who has made a mistake, I believe, there in the second Lesmos. Obviously ran wide and hit the gravel, so thankfully gets out of our way. But Contrast, running wide, and that's not what you want to be doing. Super Softs maybe just starting to fade away a little bit for the Ferrari driver, but as you can see, that is the Mercedes pairing right there. So at this point on, I'm just hoping that they, you know, try and maybe scrap just a little bit on this last lap, because you know we're so close. We're right there in every way. But as you can see now, under brakes into the first chicane, nothing doing. But they're right there. We are so close. Can we do anything to get these two? Just hope for a mistake from one of them, or even from Contrast for that matter, and we could maybe somehow still squeak a podium. But yeah, nothing doing. Decided not to try and throw it up the inside there. But yeah, it's one little mistake from any one of us, and that is effectively almost going to put us to the back of the queue. Excuse yourself obviously, because that's where I already am. But pretty much now on our last overtaking opportunity, and no one is close enough to make a move on anyone. But Contrast is right behind Pete, and at this point we're coming down the long straight, the final corner, and I'm just praying, hoping that Contrast might maybe go for a lunge. Will he go for a dive on the Mercedes? No, I don't. He's not quite close enough. And that is going to be position 4 here at the Italian Grand Prix. Not what we were hoping for, but still a decent haul of points, and the championship still well and truly in our favour. Well, thanks guys for tuning in again as always. Hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, we'll try and wrap up championship next round. There's a break week this weekend, so round round 9 won't be till next weekend. But yeah, check out the live stream for that at 8 PM Australian time, or 8 AM I think if you're in the UK. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.